Let me ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with this question, not just scroll past it. When did you last do something that scared you? Not jumped out of a plane scared. I mean the quiet kind of scared. The kind where you almost said something true to someone you love and then didn't. The kind where you almost changed course and then talked yourself back into the familiar. Because here's what I know after a long time on this earth. The things that will haunt you are almost never the things you did. They're the things you almost did. The conversations you rehearsed in the shower and then never had. The doors you stood in front of and walked away from. I spent 38 years sitting across from young people in a guidance office on the 3rd floor of a Pittsburgh public high school. I watched 16-year-olds make decisions that would quietly define the next 60 years of their lives. And I'm going to tell you something most people won't. Most of us never outgrow being 16. We just get better at pretending we have. So, 10 things, hard ones, things that took me longer than they should have to understand, and things I watch people your age get wrong every single day. I'm not going to sugarcoat them, but I'm also not going to be cruel about it, because none of us came here knowing what we were doing. Not one. Hard truth number 1. Most of the stories you tell yourself about your past are wrong. Not lies exactly, just edited, smoothed over. You remember things the way they needed to feel, not always the way they were. I had a student in, I think it was 1987, a girl named Patricia Reinhold. Bright, absolutely bright, funny, this wonderful dark humor for a kid. She came in one afternoon and told me she didn't apply to Carnegie Mellon because the program was too competitive and she wasn't ready. She said it very cleanly, very logically, and I looked at her and I thought, that's not what happened. What happened is she was terrified of being rejected by a place she wanted desperately, so she constructed a story about not being ready that let her feel in control of a decision she never actually made. She told herself she chose. She didn't choose. She flinched and called it a choice. I didn't say this to her. I was gentler than I should have been, and I've regretted that. Do you know what I wish I'd said? Patricia, what if you're wrong about yourself? Here's the action, and I want you to hear it clearly. Go back and look at the 3 biggest decisions of your adult life, the ones you feel settled about, the ones where you say, I decided. Ask yourself, did you decide, or did you flinch and reframe? These are not the same thing. Deciding feels like movement. Flinching feels like relief. If it felt like relief, you might want to look at it again. Hard truth number 2. The people closest to you are not mind readers, and waiting for them to understand you without explanation is a form of cruelty you're inflicting on yourself. I was married for 63 years, and for maybe the first 30 of them, I operated on the belief that if Anthony really loved me, he would just know. He would know when I was exhausted. He would know when I needed him to take something off my plate. He would know when I felt invisible. He did not know. He was a good man, not a psychic. And I spent years being quietly resentful of him for failing to be something no human being is capable of being. We went through a very bad stretch in my early 50s. I mean genuinely bad, where I wasn't sure the marriage would hold. And the thing that finally cracked it open, not a dramatic blow-up, just a quiet Tuesday night in February, where I finally said the actual thing out loud, was me telling him what I needed. Specifically, without softening it into a hint. It took me nearly 30 years to do what I could have done at 24. Whatever you need from someone right now, a partner, a parent, a friend, say it out loud this week. Don't perform it. Don't hint at it. Say, here is what I need from you. Let them respond. That's a relationship. Everything else is theater. Hard truth number 3. Your body is giving you a warning right now that you are choosing to ignore. Everybody has one. That thing your body has been saying for a year, maybe 3 years, that you've been too busy or too anxious to address. The shoulder that catches, the exhaustion that settled in like a tenant, the thing you've Googled twice at midnight and then closed the browser. I'm not talking about hypochondria. I'm talking about the signal underneath the noise. In 2003, I started getting these headaches that were different from other headaches. Not worse exactly, different, like they had an address. I told myself it was stress, told myself it was menopause lag, told myself all kinds of things for about 8 months. What it turned out to be was a small venous malformation that was absolutely manageable, caught when we caught it. But the neurosurgeon I saw told me very plainly that I was lucky the difference was 8 months and not 2 years. You know what was more important than that doctor's appointment for 8 months? Nothing. Nothing was more important. I just treated it like it was. Pick up the phone today. Make the appointment, the one you've been postponing. Not next week. Today, while you're watching this, you can make a note. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for someone who would be destroyed to lose you. Hard truth number 4. You have confused being busy with being effective, and it is costing you the life you think you're building. Busyness became the great American alibi sometime around 1995, and it's never let go. Being busy became proof of worth, proof of seriousness, proof that you matter. I watched it happen to parents of students I counseled. I watched brilliant people who genuinely cared about their children, disappear into the machinery of their careers, and then be shocked, genuinely shocked, when their kids were 18 and essentially strangers to them. I'm not pointing fingers. I did the same thing with Michael during a stretch in the 1980s that I'm not proud of. He was 12, 13, 14, the years when boys start to harden into who they'll be, and I was finishing my master's degree at night and managing a caseload during the day and coming home depleted. I thought I was building something for my family, and in one sense I was, and in another sense, I was simply not there. We lost 7 years after that. He was 22 and I was 50, and we were strangers who shared a last name. That estrangement didn't come from nowhere. I put the stones down that built that wall, one busy evening at a time. Look at your schedule this week. Find the 2 things you are most proud of being busy with. Now ask, are they the 2 things that will matter most to you at the end? If not as a condemnation, just as information, what would have to change? Hard truth number 5. Forgiveness is not a gift you give another person. It's surgery you perform on yourself. I held a grudge for 11 years against a woman named Ruth Dietrich, who was a vice principal at my school. I won't go into all of it. The short version is that she took credit for a program I built, in front of people whose respect I had worked hard to earn, and she did it with complete smoothness and no apparent guilt. I was 51 years old. I was furious. I kept that fury in a box, and I took it out and polished it for a decade. I thought about what I should have said. I thought about what other people must have thought. I thought about it while driving. I thought about it while trying to fall asleep. Ruth Dietrich retired in 1998 and moved to Florida and had no idea I was still thinking about her. That's the obscenity of a long grudge. You are devoting your finite mental and emotional energy to a person who has, in most cases, moved on completely. You are keeping them alive in your head as a primary tenant while paying all the rent yourself. I'm not saying what was done to you doesn't matter. I'm saying, how many more months are you prepared to give them? Because you're giving them real time, not metaphorical time, actual hours of your life. What would it take for you to make 2025 the year you put it down? Not for them, for you. Hard truth number 6. The version of the future you're waiting for is not coming. There is a future you are waiting for. I know this because everyone is waiting for one. The future where the kids are older and things are easier. The future where you've paid off enough debt to breathe. The future where you'll have the conversation, take the trip, start the project, say the thing. In 1979, I started keeping a journal. Not consistently, I was never that organized about it, but periodically. I have journals from 1979, 1983, 1991, 2001, 2009. And when I read through them now, do you know what I find? That in every single decade, I was waiting for conditions to improve before I started living the life I actually wanted. 1979, waiting until the kids were in school full-time. 1983, waiting until Anthony's job stabilized. 1991, waiting until Michael's situation resolved. 2001, waiting until I figured out what I actually wanted in retirement. The conditions did not improve, or rather, they improved and then new conditions appeared that also needed improving. This is the permanent human situation. The relief you're waiting for is not coming. What is coming is just more life, with different obstacles. This is not pessimism. This is the most liberating thing I know. Because if there is no perfect moment, you can stop waiting for it. You can start right now with the messy, imperfect, obligation-crowded life you actually have. What is the thing you are waiting to start until conditions improve? Give it a date, not someday, a specific date. Write it down. Hard truth number 7. Most of the opinions you hold most fiercely were given to you by someone else, and you have never actually examined them. This one is uncomfortable, and I know it, and I'm saying it anyway. I grew up in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Steelworker town, Catholic, mid-century, very particular set of assumptions about what life was supposed to look like and who was supposed to live which kind of life. Those assumptions were in the water. You absorbed them before you were old enough to have an opinion. And I will tell you honestly that I spent a significant portion of my career as a guidance counselor subtly directing certain students towards certain futures because of those absorbed assumptions. Not maliciously, not consciously even, but I looked at a student like James Whitfield, brilliant kid, class of 1984, and I steered him toward engineering rather than literature because something in my formation said that was the practical path for someone like him. He was a black kid from a working-class family, and I thought I was being helpful. He came back to see me in 2011. He teaches English literature at Duquesne. He told me he spent 15 years in a career he was competent at but didn't love before he finally trusted himself. He wasn't angry at me. He should have been, a little. I was 78 years old, and I sat across from James Whitfield and understood for the first time that I had passed on, unexamined, the exact thing I thought I was helping students escape. Pick one opinion you hold passionately, just one. Ask yourself, where did this actually come from? Have you tested it against reality, or have you just accumulated evidence that confirms it? What would you believe if you'd grown up somewhere completely different? Hard truth number 8. You are going to lose far more than you think, and you are not as prepared as you assume. I don't mean this to frighten you. I mean it because the alternative, not being told, is worse. Your 60s are going to feel, for a while, like an extension of your 50s. You will still feel mostly yourself. You will still feel mostly in control. And because of that, you will keep deferring the conversations and plans and emotional preparations that 60 is precisely the right time for. And then, sometime in your early 70s, not for everyone, but for most, Things begin to shift in ways you cannot defer anymore. The body becomes a negotiation rather than a given. The losses start to cluster. Friends, parents, eventually peers. The world becomes increasingly made for people younger than you and less legible than it was. I'm not saying this to depress you. I'm saying your 60s are the last decade of full capacity that most people have. And most people spend it assuming there will be more decades like it. There may not be. I'm not being morbid. I'm being honest in the way that a guidance counselor is supposed to be honest, which means saying the thing that is true rather than the thing that is comfortable. Use your 60s. Don't manage them. Use them. Take the physical risks your body still allows. Have the hard conversations while everyone is still well enough to have them. Do the thing that requires stamina and nerve and presence, because those are depletable resources, not permanent ones. If you are in your 50s and watching this, you have a gift. Use it. Hard truth number 9. The way you treat the people who can do nothing for you is who you actually are. I've thought about this for years, how people's character reveals itself in lateral and downward relationships, not upward ones. Almost everyone can manage to be decent to people they're trying to impress or people who have power over them. That's not character, that's strategy. Character is how you treat the student who is never going to be valedictorian. Character is how you speak to the secretary who processes your paperwork. Character is whether you call back the friend who is going through something difficult when you are too tired and it would be easier not to. I failed this test many times. I want to be honest about that. There was a woman on my staff in the early 90s, a filing clerk named Beverly, who was, how do I say this gently, not easy to be around. She was slow and slightly anxious, and she needed more direction than others, and I was sometimes impatient with her in ways that I justified to myself as efficiency. Beverly left after 2 years. Years later, one of my colleagues mentioned that Beverly had told her she found the work environment very difficult, that she had gone home and cried on multiple occasions. I had not known this, or, more honestly, I had not tried to know. I was a guidance counselor. Helping people navigate difficulty was my entire professional identity. And I had missed, completely, someone struggling right next to me because she didn't fit neatly into the category of person I was assigned to help. Think about the last time you were impatient with someone who couldn't do anything about it. That moment, that's information about who you are, not a condemnation, information. What do you want to do with it? Hard truth number 10. The love you have not expressed out loud will not be understood from context. I saved this one for last because it's the one I feel most sharply. When Anthony died in the spring of 2019, it was a Tuesday in April, just after lunch. Very fast, he didn't suffer. I spent the weeks that followed going through 50 years of accumulated life. His things. His books with his notes in the margins, his terrible handwriting on grocery lists that I found in old coat pockets. And I thought about all the things I had meant for him to know that I had conveyed primarily through action, through cooking the things he liked, through being present, through 60 years of choosing over and over to stay and to build. I believed, and I still believe, that he felt loved. But in those weeks after April 2019, I also remembered the times I had swallowed a "thank you for staying" because it seemed excessive. The times I had thought, "I'm so lucky to have you," and said nothing because the moment had passed. The times I had looked at him over dinner, just an ordinary Tuesday, pasta, the news on in the background, and felt something full and enormous and said nothing at all. He knew. I believe he knew. But I cannot ask him now. And there is a particular kind of grief in that uncertainty that I was not prepared for and cannot recommend. So I'm asking you, not as a lesson, not as a numbered truth, but as one human being who has lived a long time, asking another human being who still has time. Who do you love that you haven't told in a while? Not demonstrated, not assumed, told with actual words that you can say out loud. I'm 92 years old. I have seen enough Tuesday afternoons end without warning to know that you should not wait for a significant occasion. The significant occasion is any ordinary day where you are both still here. Do it soon. Do it this week. Don't do it because I told you to. Do it because the version of yourself who is much older, looking back, will be so glad you did. That's all I have. I hope some of it was worth your time,